Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 6th Milan Urban Food Policy Pact Online Global Forum and Milan Pact Talks 2020. It is an occasion to celebrate 5 years of intense efforts to transform our food systems. Let us begin by marking our milestones and achievements. We have connected cities around the world and millions of people who inhabit them. We have worked together to overcome challenges. We have shared our experiences to inspire each other. We have made our ideas the core of our actions. Our shared goal remains the same, making food systems more sustainable, fair, safe, nutritious, inclusive, and climate-friendly. We are ready to face future challenges, committed to leaving no one behind. In the past 5 years, we have achieved a lot, but there is still much to do. The path ahead of us is paved. All we need to do is follow it together. Because the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact was built for us, by us. Cities and territories are the beating heart of the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact. They are striving to build inclusive climate action, sustainable urban development, social equity, poverty reduction and circular economy, able to optimise resources and reduce waste. These are issues concerning us all. It is only through shared commitments and efforts that we will achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. Our journey began in Milan in 2015. Following many months of preparation, the city was ready to host the Universal Expo on Feeding the Planet, Energy for Life, and to welcome mayors from over 100 cities worldwide, gathered to sign the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact.
3, 2, 1, sign!
The first ever international agreement on sustainable urban food systems was born. A document setting forth 37 recommended actions to inspire mayors and policymakers to tackle food-related challenges at the urban level. 1 year later, representatives of signatory cities met at FAO headquarters in Rome, in an extraordinary event that saw the participation of large and smaller cities, because city-to-city cooperation is the core of the pact.
It's a great honor to welcome all of you to FAO and symbolically open the doors of this organization to all cities of the world.
On this very occasion, on World Food Day 2016, the first edition of the Milan Pact Awards was launched.
I'm really thrilled that many of the cities and the leaders that you're hearing from today are finally getting the recognition that they deserve.
A powerful tool to strengthen cooperation and exchange best practices among cities. That year also marked an important milestone for the Milan Pact internal governance structure. It could now rely on a newly established secretariat and a steering committee. In 2017, it was Valencia's turn to host 400 mayors, experts and city delegates, gathered for our third annual gathering.
Valencia es una ciudad llena de valores y esta es una ocasión privilegiada para ponerlos encima de la mesa.
Collaboration among cities was increasing and momentum was growing stronger. Developing innovative food policies requires consideration of social inclusion, resilience and sustainability. Such topics were discussed in 2018 at the 4th annual gathering held in Tel Aviv. Participants worked together on urban food policies and climate change. Innovation stems from dialogue and joint work. This gathering saw the launching of the MUFPP monitoring framework, a useful tool for cities to monitor their progress in implementing the Pact's recommended actions and to inform policy-making process. In 2019, Milan Pact cities met in Montpellier to discuss the contribution of food systems to the Sustainable Development Goals and to localising the Agenda 2030. It was an extraordinary participation of our growing and increasingly conscious community. And there's more. Throughout the years, the MUFPP cities held 12 meetings in different geographic regions. The regionalisation process plays a crucial role in identifying common challenges and solutions applicable to similar territorial and socio-economic contexts. In 5 editions, the Milan Pact Awards collected 370 best practices from our cities, demonstrating the increased importance of food policies in cities' agendas. The Milan Pact Awards is a formidable tool to raise awareness, facilitate mutual understanding, and spur innovation in shaping urban food systems. The best practices collected represent a rich and evolving repository of knowledge on urban food policies, inspiring cities to work together towards our shared goals. We are a thriving community, enriched by the valuable support of our partners, city networks and multilateral initiatives. All of us with a view into the future, we are looking forward to meeting again. Now more than ever, we are fully aware of the value and strength of our joint work. We are ready and happy to welcome cities, institutions and people to join us in the continuation of this extraordinary journey.
Hello, I'm Beppe Sala, Mayor of Milan and Chair of the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact. I am delighted to open this online event to celebrate 5 years of the Pact. Since 2015, it provides a unique platform for our cities to work together to build better urban food systems. Thank you for your commitment and hard working in boosting the food systems of our cities. I would like to share 2 main results of our action in Milan. The first relates to food waste reduction. The second to healthy diets. On food waste, we have been working to motivate and coordinate all city stakeholders to minimize food losses by redistributing food in the people in need. And the food losses donated in 2019 provided 3.5 million meals to people in need. This has proven particularly important at the time of hardship we are experiencing with the coronavirus crisis. On planetary health diets, we are proud of our achievements in school canteens with more plant-based foods. In Milan, the school canteen service guarantees healthy diets to 65,000 children daily. Thanks to our food policy, the municipality has been able to lead the food system transformation of Milan to be more sustainable and inclusive. Exchanging best practices among our cities is one of the strongest points of the Milan Pact. For this purpose, we have developed a powerful tool, the Milan Pact Awards. I would like to hear more from the City of Toronto that won the award in 2017.
Well, thank you, Mayor Sala. In 2017, the Toronto Food Strategy was pleased to receive the highest Milan Pact Award in Valencia, Spain for Community Foodworks Newcomer Settlement. It was a proud day for our city. I can tell you, speaking frankly, that this award, it helped to spearhead our city's international knowledge exchange and our skills transfer with a delegation from 2 cities in Greece. Through food, our cities strengthened social cohesion, newcomer settlement, employment opportunities. This was our experience with the Milan Pact. Now, let's listen to another city.
I was experiencing organizing the first Latin American MUFPP Regional Forum. We had a very positive experience in organizing the first Latin American MUFPP Regional Forum in 2019. It was an enriching event and an opportunity for cities to share knowledge, best practice, foster common programs and actions, and reaffirm their commitment to sustainable, nutritious, and inclusive urban food systems.
Thank you, Rio de Janeiro. The City of New Haven's belief in the value of the Milan Pact is demonstrated by our dedication to our role on the steering committee and our use of the monitoring framework for many of our food system policy division's projects. The framework provides the City of New Haven with a robust and thorough evaluation tool to measure our progress towards an equitable and sustainable food system. The sustainable diets and nutrition indicators are very practical for our partnership with Harvard University's Food Law and Policy Clinic and local residents and organizations to develop equity-driven, community-informed sugar reduction policies that will address the systemic and structural factors that contribute to health inequities. And the food waste indicators are extremely useful for the New Haven Community Composting Collaborative, our first systematic effort to pull together nonprofit and private organizations in order to expand community-level composting and lay the groundwork for a citywide composting program that will reduce city disposal costs, create economic activity and jobs, and mitigate environmental impacts. All 6 categories are invaluable for our community-led process to create New Haven's first urban agriculture master plan, a blueprint to access land and opportunities in order to support the production and sale of locally grown foods, build community, improve public health and well-being, and provide economic activity, particularly in areas that have vacant or underutilized land and low access to food. What are the strengths and major achievements of the Pact? One of the major achievements of the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact is that merely through its existence, it has created the opportunity for cities to convene, share knowledge, identify transferable best practices, collaborate, and develop innovative pathways to local sustainable food systems. One of the Pact's greatest strengths is that it supports and levels the playing field between small, mid-sized, and megacities. And in our case, strives to highlight and honor innovative work from smaller cities that may otherwise go unnoticed. How about Europe?
Thank you, New Haven. In fact, our efforts in developing a sustainable food system for the city and promoting healthy diets has been triggered by signing the Milan Urban Food Policy further. From being nothing but fields and farmlands in the early 70s, Almere has become one of the fastest growing cities in Europe, with a population nowadays of roughly 220,000 residents, while remaining resilient, green and sustainable. We are therefore more than justified in our commitment of building a low-carbon, resource-efficient, socially just city in which people can live healthy lives, with sustainable, healthy and affordable food. What has changed in our city after having signed the MUFPP? What has changed in our city after having signed the MUFPP in 2015 is that we have stimulated Short Food Supply Chains Initiative. The corona crisis has further accelerated this development. We also promote a more healthy food environment by introducing food education at our schools, establishing the Flevo campus, a knowledge and innovation center on urban food challenges. And since recently, we have developed a food strategy for the city. In 2022, Almere will be the stage of the Floriade International Agricultural Expo. With the central theme, Feeding the City, we invite countries and their cities to share their urban food solutions at this expo. Let's inspire each other and work closely together to provide our citizens with healthy environments and healthy food. Let's see what's happening in Seoul.
Thank you, Armir. We are sending greetings from Seoul, South Korea. We are currently working to establish Food Strategy 2030 and Food Master Plan in order to ensure the sustainability of food systems of the city of Seoul. We are extremely happy and grateful to share our plans with the partner cities of the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact. We, City of Seoul, identify 6 core areas of mission. There are health, security, co-benefit, community, circularity, and happiness. By focusing on these 6 core areas, we hope to engage our citizens and to make the urban food systems more sustainable for today and for the future. We are currently going through an unprecedented time of crisis everywhere in the world. Without overcoming food crisis caused by climate change, we can never guarantee a sustainable future and survival of human beings. Therefore, we will keep working to follow the recommended actions in the 6 categories as prescribed in the MUFPP and to create policies for sustainable food systems. Thank you very much. Goodbye from Seoul. Over to you, Abidjan.
Merci Séoul. Le district autonome d'Abidjan est membre du comité de pilotage du Pacte de Milan depuis sa création en 2015. Notre expérience en représentant le continent africain au sein du comité de pilotage a été très riche. Cela nous a permis, à partir des partages d'expériences, de faire bon usage des outils nécessaires à la mise en place et au développement de systèmes alimentaires durables et de faire la coordination des questions de politique alimentaire urbaine entre les différents services et secteurs au niveau municipal et communautaire. Cela a été également une belle occasion de participer à la mise en cohérence entre les programmes alimentaires des niveaux infranational, régional et international. Cette contribution nous a permis de mener des plaidoyers afin d'impacter sur les réglementations et plans urbains existants pour établir des systèmes alimentaires équitables. Le chemin est encore long à parcourir, mais grâce au réseau du Pacte de Milan, le district autonome d'Abidjan espère se doter de son propre système alimentaire pour le bonheur de ses populations et encourager d'autres villes d'Afrique à se joindre au Pacte de Milan. Voyons ce qui se passe a Valencia.
Muchas gracias, Abidjan, por tus palabras, y desde aquí, desde la ciudad de Valencia, lo que podemos decir es que fue realmente fabuloso ser parte del proceso de construcción del Pacto de Milán. Recuerdo ciudades de todos los rincones del mundo cómo compartían entre ellas sus intereses, sus problemas, sus proyectos y sus ilusiones, y fue realmente maravilloso. Por supuesto que ayudó mucho a la ciudad de Valencia a impulsar políticas de desarrollo buscando un sistema alimentario urbano sostenible. En este despacho aún están muchas de las ciudades que vinieron en el año 2017 a ser parte del encuentro de ciudades del Pacto de Milán, y es un honor para nosotros compartir todo ese conocimiento, todo ese saber hacer. Hay un antes y un después en esta ciudad. Nuestra relación con las demás ciudades del Pacto de Milán y con otras instituciones de Naciones Unidas o de redes de ciudades o de centros de conocimientos va más a más. Es fabuloso entender cómo cuando de verdad queremos profundizar en lo que es un sistema alimentario urbano sostenible, confluyen muchas áreas de conocimiento fabulosas como cambio climático, políticas sociales, big data, compra pública, desperdicio alimentario. Ha sido un honor, ha sido una suerte muy grande y espero que esta suerte se reparta a lo largo de los años en muchas ciudades por todo el mundo. Y ahora le doy el paso a la ciudad de Dakar.
Merci Valencia. La ville de Dakar a accueilli le premier forum régional du Pacte de Milan en Afrique en 2016. Notre expérience d'organisation a permis de regrouper les pays francophones de la sous-région africaine autour de la problématique des politiques alimentaires durables en milieu urbain et de parler d'une seule voix lors des événements internationaux. Merci. Allons en Amérique latine.
Obrigado, Dakar, for all your contributions. The realization of the Milan Pact regional webinar on food security in a context of urgency as a result of the pandemic was a real driver for building resilience in a cooperative way among Latin American cities. The cities of Belo Horizonte, Rio de Janeiro, Lima, Medellín, Buenos Aires, and the region of Antioquia presented actions to guarantee food and nutritional security during the pandemic, which will serve as a reference for the construction of a more effective and socially responsible policies. In addition, the webinar enabled the possibility of creating joint solutions adapted to the regional reality through a dialogue aligned with the monitoring indicators of the Milan Pact, creating synergy between actions and strengthening the network on the continent. This experience has allowed us to strengthen, once again, this global network of cities and people committed to food security in local governments. Let's close our message with the Steering Committee Coordinator, the city of Tel Aviv.
Shalom friends, we have been honored to be voted by colleagues in the Steering Committee to coordinate its activities. The Milan Pact is more than just a statement. It provides the city new perspective for analyzing its activities in relation to the food systems. Our strength, as we have seen recently, is our ability to learn from the experience of others and shorten the learning process, thus save time and create meaningful partnerships. The city of Tel Aviv-Yafo benefit greatly from the work which has been done, from best practice and experience shared by a joint regional webinar which deepens cooperation between cities in the region through the work in promoting food policy issues with cities on the other side of the world. The work itself empowered the local effort in promoting healthy and sustainable food policies in light of COVID-19 as a holistic approach with increased food security and contribute to better nutrition for the city.
Good morning, good afternoon and good evening, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to this edition of the Milan Pact Talks 2020 from the studios of the Cariplo Foundation in Milan. We will dedicate the next minutes to present this very special edition of the Milan Pact Awards, promoted by the City of Milan and the Cariplo Foundation. The COVID-19 emergency has shown that cities are in the front line providing concrete solutions to citizen needs. And in particular, food policy team have to face many unexpected challenges as the urban food system have been severely hit by this pandemic. Therefore, from June to September, we asked signatory cities to submit up to 3 videos related to the COVID food responses. The aim is to share knowledge about the measure undertaken to face, adapt, and mitigate the urban food system shocks. This year, you share 109 practices, making this edition the most participated one. Thank you for being so cooperative. Today there will be 5 speakers that will help us to understand and comment on the major focus of cities' effort in these months. Let's begin with the 2 co-promoters of the awards, Carlo Mango, Head of the Research and Innovation of the Cariplo Foundation, and Anna Scavuzzo, the Vice Mayor of Milan. I would start with Carlo Mango, that is our host today. Over to you, Carlo.
Thanks a lot, Filippo. I'm very happy to have you here in the Cariplo factory, that is Fondazione Cariplo's open innovation catalyst. Here, every day, we contribute to foster knowledge cross-pollination with the innovations ecosystem. The issue of urban food policy is very close to Fondazione Cariplo and is now becoming more and more relevant all over the world. As you know, we started this journey together in 2015 with the launch of the Milan Pact Award. This was our way to support Milan in its path to foster food system transformation at local and international level. Since the very beginning, the idea guiding Cariplo Foundation's commitment in this process was to support cities with practical tools and examples to make transformation possible. Within this context, we decided that the first step was to work together to create a library of food policy practices open to everyone. Since 2016, the award has been a powerful tool in the framework of Milan Urban Food Policy Pact to elect and promote cross-pollination of knowledge on food system among cities. What happened goes beyond our expectation. In 5 years, we were able to collect 370 food practices, award 8 prizes to the best food policy practices all over the world, and recognized 24 special mentions. Over the last 5 years, our jury included a range of international experts. The direct engagement has been strategic to raise awareness and make advocacy of the importance of urban food system transformation within and outside their institutional environment. The European Commission, FAO, EAT Foundation, and Ellen MacArthur Foundation are just a few examples. Our collaboration grows day by day, and with these institutions, cities of Milan Pact are now working on dedicated programs. So, of course, I'm very happy to say that we met this goal. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlo. The Milan Pact is a good platform for knowledge exchange, and in difficult time that we are living now, we should be more and more cooperative. And so we decided to shift from awards to talks, because we knew that in this uncertain time, the collaboration was and is crucial. By taking part in many international exchanges, I can affirm that cities that have already a well-structured food policy had tools and alliance to face the pandemic promptly and effectively. An investment that paid off the local administration and their citizens during all this period of emergency. I had a look of the video submitted and I saw amazing contribution. Let me thank all the mayors, deputy mayors, councillor, food policies officer, and all of our local partners of their great work. You gave us a clear understanding of the different emergency situations that you faced, the creative and innovative solutions that you implemented, the way in which you joined your best forces of your cities, NGOs, private and public sectors, school canteen services, and so on. I think you empowered your local communities. Together we make the SDG 17 on partnerships effective. And this is just one goal of the 2030 agenda that we are contributing to in all these times. In 2020 Milan Pact, cities are struggling to guarantee the access of food to vulnerable groups and to reduce inequalities against the new urban poverty, also as an effect of economic crisis. Of course, a stronger effort has been made to promote good health and well-being through food. More importantly, we don't forget the approach of the previous years, when we work hard on SDG number 12, responsible production and consumption. It still remains in our list of priorities, and this will spur the local economy with a particular attention to sustainability. With our food policies, we are still committed to give the local contribution to the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. I personally think that we need to maintain high our political commitment. We have already 10 years ahead. Have a good work.
Thank you, Carlo and Zanna. We started to strengthen the relations among the SDGs and the Milan Pact Awards in 2019 to better assess the contribution of the Milan Pact cities to the agenda. By the way, if you want to know more about the 2019 edition, please have a look to this online report that highlight the major contribution of winning cities, special mention, and finalist cities. You will also find on our YouTube channel the full recordings of the 2019 ceremony and the roundtable as well. We prepared a 60-second video to share with you those vibes. Play the video, please. Getting back to the 2020 talks, you can see the geographical distribution of the 58 cities that submitted the 109 videos. There is a well-balanced distribution all over the world, and we are very happy to see, for example, that from Asia Pacific, we went from 2 practices in 2019 to 10 videos this year. This widespread distribution further enriches our common knowledge. We went through all of your submission, and we observed that cities are active mostly on 3 areas of action to mitigate the urban food system shocks. They are ensuring food aid, promoting healthy diets, and recovering the food economy. To help you deepen this knowledge, we will present these 3 trends together with a selection of your video contribution and with a comment from our partners. Let's begin with food aid, together with Marcela Villarreal, Director of Partnerships and UN Collaboration at the FAO, who will comment on this trend. Many cities took different action since the very beginning of the crisis to ensure food security to people in need, in order to guarantee basic human rights and to contribute to the SDGs number 2, Zero Hunger. The aim was and is to leave no one behind. Let's have a quick look to some of your videos.
Mesdames, Messieurs, je suis fière de joindre ma voix aux autres villes signataires du Pacte de Milan pour vous faire part de quelques actions mises en place par la Ville de Montréal dans les derniers mois pour venir en aide aux plus vulnérables et s'assurer que tout le monde mange à sa faim. Distribution de repas pour les personnes en situation d'itinérance a aussi rapidement été mise en place en partenariat avec le réseau d'organismes membres de la Cantine pour tous. Les repas étaient préparés par des entreprises d'économie sociale et d'insertion sociale et livrés 7 jours sur 7 dans des centres de jour et des cantines mobiles. En tout, ce sont près de 2000 repas par jour qui ont été distribués pendant 5 mois.
The community in Surakarta City, who are known for their strong culture of mutual cooperation, take a stand to rise up, increase family resilience through food security, and develop a food granary system.
Carinho que a gente vê estampado nos olhos de todo mundo, ainda mais evidente agora com a máscara, que, com as luvas, se tornaram itens mais do que obrigatórios para garantir a segurança em todas as etapas da preparação das mais de 6.300 refeições servidas diariamente. Agora, nada de bandejas, só marmitas. Na pandemia, foram quase 500 mil distribuídas nos 4 restaurantes populares da capital. E no fim de semana tem almoço de graça para o sem-teto.
Sì, buongiorno signora, sono un volontario del comune. Avremmo della frutta da lasciarle in omaggio. Se mi apre io la lascio giù e lei viene giù a prenderla. Va bene, grazie. Va bene, grazie.
There will not be social justice and human dignity if the human right to adequate food is not respected. In times of pandemic, the performance of the food bank has been essential because it is the main receiving pole of storage, basket manufacture, and food distribution from the Solidarity Network that has the slogan, "Solidarity contaminates more than the virus."
We knew the needs of the communities were still strong. We knew that there was poverty in the communities. We knew there was hunger, that we knew there would be challenges for people. So we engaged with partners, engaged with the council, and basically we stepped in and worked with a whole range of partners to bring together and to develop a food relief network.
El sistema TIF Guadalajara apoyó en la entrega de 4.415 raciones de alimento preparado en nuestros comedores comunitarios y algunos centros de desarrollo comunitario a la población. Es importante mencionar que con la finalidad de no dejar de lado el compromiso con la salud, no solo de los ciudadanos, sino también del planeta, establecido en el C40, la ciudad de Guadalajara, a fin de seguir promoviendo un sistema de alimentación autosustentable, siguió operando durante la pandemia los huertos comunitarios ubicados en los comedores comunitarios.
Ensuring access to food, and particularly to healthy food, has been a priority for the city of Milan. And according to that, the municipality has organized in less than a week a food aid system. This system was organized mainly for elderly people that could not leave the house during the lockdown and vulnerable families that faced also economic problems due to job loss. The Food Policy Office, the Social Affairs Department and the Civic Defense Department worked together for more than 15 weeks to cover the food needs of the city and with the precious help of many local organizations and volunteers.
A Prefeitura de São Paulo está realizando a transferência de recurso financeiro mensal como forma de garantir a alimentação dos estudantes regularmente matriculados na rede municipal de educação. O recurso é disponibilizado exclusivamente para aquisição de alimentos.
With key issues of food security and sufficiency as our major goal. And that is why in the past the Assembly has worked with Urbanet, the University of Development Studies, the Ministry of Agriculture to ensure that we're able to mobilize and galvanize ideas from all levels to be able to deliver on food security.
By partnering with the Toronto Public Library, we were able to open 11 temporary food banks at Toronto Public Library branches that operated until the libraries reopened their facilities in early June. Since then, the temporary food banks were relocated from library branches.
Con el tema de la pandemia, desde el municipio se ha incrementado la ayuda alimentaria a todas las familias de San Antonio de Areco. A aquellas que ya recibían ayuda se incrementó y también se ayudó a aquellas familias que por la cuarentena quedaron fuera del sistema sin trabajo. Entonces la ayuda alimentaria se vio incrementada en gran parte.
It's a program through which clinic partners connect patients who are food insecure and who are asked to self-quarantine due to COVID-19 to a program that provides a 2-week supply of food to help them keep their quarantine.
Департамент питания является стратегическим предприятием, участвующим в жизнеобеспечении города. В период пандемии мы еще раз в этом убедились. Мы работали в режиме 24/7, весь период карантина. Мы обеспечивали горячим питанием сотрудников правоохранительных органов, которые работали круглосуточно на блокпостах во время карантина. Пациентов 9 крупнейших больниц города Казани, в том числе больных в ковидных госпиталях. Также мы отгрузили сухие пайки школьникам, которые находились в это время.
So we were aiming to become a sustainable food city by 2020.
Which is the first step in putting us on a pathway to making sure that everyone across the city has access to sustainable, nutritious food.
COVID then hit, but it hasn't derailed us and has refocused our efforts.
We made space for a whole range of organisations in Bristol who wanted to tackle hunger, nutritional poverty, looking at the whole food system, and ultimately formed the real backbone of our food effort around COVID.
So Marcela, could you give us an overview on how cities took action to guarantee food security? And what do you think will be the role of cities in the near future?
Thanks, Filippo. I would just like to start by highlighting how dynamic the response of cities and local governments has been in such a critical time. They've been playing an enormous active role in containing the effects of COVID-19 pandemic on health and food security of the urban populations around the world. Disruptions in supply chains have meant scarcity of basic food and higher food prices during lockdowns in a number of cities in different regions in the world. In addition, the urban poor have been hit by the recession caused by lockdowns. Cities and local governments have been key actors to ensure that access to food for all, and particularly for the most vulnerable, has happened. FAO conducted a global survey as part of the FAO Urban Food Agenda corporate initiative back in April on the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on urban food systems. And this survey showed us that more than 90% of the cities that we surveyed around the world had put in place measures to ensure food access to all people in need. This is a fantastic response. The Milan Pact Talks videos are testimonies of the city's responsiveness. Cities have been creative and innovative. They have mobilized their people. Local governments have coordinated actions with their national government and local stakeholders. Local governments have facilitated and promoted connection among food systems actors. Food was and still is being distributed and delivered through innovative mechanisms such as mobile markets, temporary food hubs, and online platforms. We see a lot of creativity, a lot of energy into this response at the local level. This crisis can be a great opportunity, a great trigger for change. We should plan beyond the emergency. It is FAO's firm belief that tackling short-term issues associated with this pandemic should not distract us from building back better with a long-term objective towards a sustainable planet. I would focus on 4 points to build back better. First, there is an urgent need to understand the root causes of vulnerability in urban areas and take actions to accelerate an inclusive urban food systems transformation. Second, Support the local actions by empowerment of local governments with appropriate resources and coordination with policy and actions at national level. Third, a transformative agenda towards more sustainable food systems in cities. Lastly, establish multi-stakeholder food governance mechanisms, such as food policy councils within cities. They are crucial for facilitating collaboration among actors and exploring innovative solutions in time of crisis and beyond. Moreover, I would emphasize that the critical value of collaboration among cities, sharing experience, and showing solidarity for common goals is fundamental. The Milan Urban Food Policy Pact provides a unique opportunity for promoting this exchange among cities and to identify good practices. I would like to conclude mentioning the FAO's commitment to continuously support cities and local governance on building back better and making food systems more resilient, inclusive, and sustainable. FAO, in collaboration with partners, including the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact, is currently facilitating the establishment of an urban food systems working group, aiming at supporting local governments in raising their voices at the Nutrition for Growth Summit and also in next year's Food Systems Summit. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcela, for sharing us your thoughts and for bringing the FAO contribution to all the 5 editions of the Milan Pact Awards. Let's move ahead with the second trend, that is promoting healthy diets. And we will do this with Gunhild Stordalen, founder and CEO of the EAT Foundation. Cities are working not just to guarantee food security, but also to promote healthy diets, and in particular to the vulnerable population. Let's see some of the different actions undertaken thanks to this video.
The Climane Agricola project, we've been working to strengthen the nutrition component and food security to improve the immune system of the citizens of Climane. We tried to stimulate the no ingestion of processed food by using more nature-friendly food, thus encouraging agricultural production, sale and consumption of natural products.
Esta crisis del COVID pues, supuso el cierre de las escuelas infantiles en el mes de marzo y supuso responder a la necesidad de más de 500 niños en situación vulnerable de nuestras escuelas infantiles. Y se hizo ahí un apoyo además que fue una respuesta inigualable para llegar una alimentación saludable a más de 500 niños de 0 a 3 años de nuestras escuelas infantiles.
Una segunda estrategia es el sistema agroalimentario. Tenemos las huertas de autoconsumo, donde llegamos a las familias más vulnerables y les enseñamos a cultivar los alimentos. En estas huertas tienen diferentes alimentos que garantizan un ahorro en la canasta familiar para que puedan salir a comprar otros alimentos pues, que no se pueden cultivar en la huerta, como carne, leche.
I was informed by email by municipality of Riga that my 3 kids family is eligible to receive a free meal card. Needless to say how happy I was to hear that our municipality has a real plan how to support families with kids regarding kids' meals.
On a plusieurs sources de distribution pour les légumes. On a une formule de panier qui s'inspire un petit peu du modèle AMAP, qui est destiné aux salariés de l'opéra, mais pas que, ça s'est un petit peu ouvert après le confinement. Et on travaille avec un restaurant et une confiturerie à 5 minutes à pied d'ici.
Ora noi abbiamo riaperto già nel momento in cui sto parlando i nidi e le scuole materne, ci approssimiamo a riaprire le messe nelle primarie, con un obiettivo duplice. riaprire le mense in sicurezza, ovviamente, perché si tratta della vita di bambini e non solo di bambini, ma l'altro obiettivo è continuare a dare in queste condizioni un pasto buono, sano, educativo y justo.
La posibilidad de llegar a los niños y jóvenes en las unidades educativas y poderlos formar con la conciencia de una alimentación sana y saludable es lo más importante. En este tiempo, cuando llega la pandemia y la emergencia sanitaria, se suspenden las clases y la estrategia de la unidad de alimentación vira hacia las redes sociales. Tenemos en las redes sociales trabajo con Facebook, con YouTube, con TikTok y también a través de videoconferencias y webinars que se han realizado. Hemos conformado más de 238 grupos de WhatsApp. Estos grupos, que son las comisiones de alimentación de padres de familia, han ido aprendiendo también a través de talleres en Zoom cómo poder hacer la alimentación en sus casas y cómo desarrollar huertos urbanos también en sus propios domicilios.
The government continues to run a health promotion program for pregnant women and children. It is called Nutrition Plus Program. It supports pregnant women and children who have nutrition risk factor and who are from families making less than 80% of median income. To solve the nutritional problems, the city works with the Korean government to provide quality food packages and customized education and counseling concerning nutrition and diet. To conform to the non-contact policies, they also offer online education. A website was built to provide nutrition education in the era of COVID-19. People can get information online and video chat with nutritional consultants.
Agora em setembro, recentemente, a felicidade de sermos agraciados com a menção honrosa da cidade signatária do Pacto de Milão, e agora uma alegria muito grande para a gente estar podendo ser uma política aceleradora da implantação dos ODS. Temos hoje uma doação para as famílias aqui da comunidade. Essas famílias são indicadas pela Associação de Moradores, que é quem detém o conhecimento local, então sabe exatamente as pessoas que estão passando.
On a vu que, par exemple, les surcoûts au niveau de la distribution, les petites exploitations familiales, les micro-jardins sont la solution pour nourrir les gens des villes et les rendre plus résilients face à cette pandémie.
With the beginning of the new school year, we launched the Breakfast campaign to encourage children to take to school healthy and varied spread in sandwiches. This campaign includes webinars of chefs and dietitians who demonstrate and give parents simple ideas and new recipes that kids may love in their sandwiches to eat at school.
Gunil, please, could you remind us how important are cities' efforts in promoting healthy diets and their relation with the planet's health?
Thank you, Filippo. That is a big question, but let me try. So I've been serving now for the past 3 years as a juror for the Milan Pact Awards. And through that and other initiatives, I've seen many inspiring examples from around the world of how cities are working hard to provide healthy and sustainable diets to their citizens. And during the pandemic, the role of cities in nourishing their people has become even more crucial, but also more challenging. And COVID has done more than showing us how fragile and vulnerable our current food systems are, because unsustainable food production has actually indirectly caused this pandemic through destroying natural ecosystems, natural habitats, and contributing to virus spillovers from wild animals to humans. And second, the pandemic has become much more deadly and costly for society due to our unhealthy diets, because we now see that people with diabetes or diet-related diseases have a higher risk of dying or for severe outcomes from the virus. But the good news is that we now have the science to say that we can fix food, including from the Eat Lancet Commission report, where the main message actually is that it is possible to provide the growing population, even as it reached 10 billion, with enough nutritious, healthy food, and do so in a way that is not destroying our planet along the way. But this is only possible if we drastically change the way we produce food, what we put on our plates, and also stop wasting. Because we must start producing food in a way that is not only climate smart, but in harmony with nature. And we also have to shift to healthy and more plant-rich diets. And on top of this, we have to at least halve food loss and food waste. And despite the challenges caused by lockdown and social distancing and the disrupted food supply chains, we really see that cities are rising to the challenge of feeding their people during these unprecedented times. I just wanted to also say that the pandemic has put spotlight on the importance of urban food systems and the crucial role of city governments in collaboration, of course, with private sector and not-for-profit organizations and civil society. So how do we move forward? I mean, it's complex challenges, but also many opportunities. And each role in all of this is to continue to break down silos and continue gather everyone around the table. And we have now shifted our Eat forums into the digital concept we're calling Eat at Home, where we will do virtual meetings and gatherings. And also we have developed a really cool newscast concept. And we do so as part of our job to help build momentum towards next year's United Nations Food Systems Summit. And this UN Food Systems Summit is really an historic opportunity for the world to come together and forge a shared global agenda for fixing food. And the ambition for the summit is that it will be both a solution summit, but also a people summit. And the ambition is to build a broad and inclusive action coalition. And here I really believe that the commitments and the action that cities already are taking, for example, the Milan Pact or the C40 Good Food Cities Declaration, can help set examples and really inspire others to join the movement. And last but not least, the summit is, of course, not an endpoint. It's actually the start, I believe, of something real. And also, I believe that we can all learn from the solutions that cities are implementing, and now during the pandemic, and of course into the future, for a more healthy and sustainable and resilient food systems. So I hope to see you at the table for the summit and be able to work with you over the next year as we prepare for the summits and of course beyond. So thank you again, Filippo, for having me.
Cities work hard on the sustainability of the urban food system, and we saw it also thanks to the contribution that you submitted at the previous edition of the Milan Pact Awards. The pandemic should not ease our efforts toward the environment. So thank you, Gunhild, for underlining that by providing healthy diets, we are also taking care of our planet. It's now time to have a look on the third trend, that is recovering the food economy. We asked Tom Achterbos, senior researcher on sustainable food systems at the Wageningen Economic Research, to comment on this trend. Cities' action in the emergency have been cross-cutting in the urban food system. Different measures have been adopted to support the food economy, from peri-urban agriculture to urban markets, from restaurants to food distribution and food delivery, also by adopting innovative technologies. Let's have a quick journey around the world with some of your contributions.
Este mercatón fue una iniciativa que brindó a productores campesinos alternativas de comercialización, acercando el campo a los hogares a un solo clic y convirtiéndose en un aliado para reducir los efectos socioeconómicos de la pandemia por COVID-19 y donde pudieron participar más de 600 productores.
Dengan Badami Berbagi,
Masyarakat dapat menyisihkan uangnya untuk berdonasi ke yang membutuhkan dengan membeli produk UMKM lokal sehingga roda perekonomian kembali berputar. Donasi tersebut akan kami bagikan ke orang yang berhak. Selain itu, pelaku usaha makanan dapat berbagi makanannya baik yang fresh food maupun
a project that we are implementing together with the Bamenda City Municipality. It's on promoting social cohesion and enhancing sustainable livelihoods among vulnerable farmers and displaced farmers in urban and peri-urban areas in Cameroon, as well as in Bamenda City in particular.
Restaurants gingen dicht, lokale voedselproducenten bleven zitten met hun met zorg geteelde producten. En consumenten? Nou ja, die moesten natuurlijk gewoon nog steeds eten. Daarom begon aan het begin van de coronacrisis een groep idealistische Flevolandse voedselondernemers met steun van Flevo Campus met de Flavorbox. Een doos vol lokale producten waarmee de inwoners van Flevoland en daarbuiten kennis kunnen maken met hun eigen voedsellandschap.
Le système alimentaire ne soit pas un moteur de propagation de cette maladie.
便利店对于后疫情时代所做出的反应也令人惊叹，如便利蜂门店实现的自助收银、自助咖啡机等自助化服务，消费者基本可以在不需要店员的情况下完成食品购买，也大大提高了消费者的购买速度，减少了人人传播病毒的途径。
Hoy es hermoso ver cómo técnicos de la ciudad de Toronto ayudan a Copenhague o Nairobi, pregunta a Atenas o Milán, se encarga de que todos tengamos una información lo más actualizada posible de las cuestiones. Es el momento de las ciudades. Naciones Unidas está muy al corriente de lo que está ocurriendo y los sistemas alimentarios urbanos sostenibles deben ser un catalizador de otros sectores como políticas de género, medio ambiente, Big Data.
El programa también tiene como objetivo apoyar a los productores agropecuarios de los valles de Lima y de otras regiones del país, facilitándoles nuevos puntos de venta directa en la ciudad, donde se han trasladado más de 74 toneladas de alimentos de primera necesidad, obteniendo ingresos por más de 310.000 soles a favor de los productores.
The project Feeding Trento has started in 2017 and has adhered to the Milan Food Policy Pact since 2019 for promoting critical consumption, spreading awareness of sustainable production, and shorten the distances between producers and consumers between the city and the countryside.
Em 2020, em plena crise de saúde pública, a Câmara Municipal do Funchal foi para o terreno e apresentou a iniciativa Funchal Cabaz Vital, com o objetivo de apoiar todas as famílias funchalenses que perderam rendimentos através da entrega de bens essenciais. A iniciativa foi desenvolvida em colaboração com os comerciantes dos mercados municipais, tendo sido possível apoiar ao mesmo tempo os produtores regionais durante um período de dificuldades graves para a economia local.
100 Kilometer Foods connects chefs and restaurateurs directly to where their food comes from. Unique in a global and often anonymous food system, this provides chefs the opportunity to forge personal relationships with the people behind the ingredients.
For suppliers like us and the network of farmers that we support, getting restaurants reopened through programs like Café TO was absolutely essential.
A fin de fortalecer las acciones que nos permitan cumplir con los compromisos del Pacto de Política Alimentaria Urbana de Milán, se creó el programa Caja de Campo, con el objetivo de brindar certidumbre comercial y asegurar la rentabilidad de las cosechas en el sector rural del municipio, apoyando a los productores que resultaron severamente afectados por la crisis del COVID-19.
And I think recognizing the need to have a more localized food system is maybe the single biggest takeaway for this COVID-19 pandemic from my perspective. We need to have a robust local farming community that has really good multiple connected points to public institutions and food retail. We need to have lots of local distribution companies to get those products out of the fields into food retail and other locations. And we need to have lots of community members engaged around growing their own food and being as resilient as possible.
Tom, how should local governments from around the world support the food economy from the disruption of the pandemic?
Thank you for having me on the award, Filippo. So,
The ultimate goal of the economy is to support welfare and well-being today and in the future. And due to the pandemic, for the past 1.5 years, the world faces an unprecedented economic crisis, which affects people in their livelihood and businesses in their opportunity. This endemic increases inequalities in an already unequal world, with many in rags and a select group of riches. And it is very, very comforting to see that municipal governments around the world take their responsibilities to support the economies in their city and city regions. And I'd like to offer 2 reflections on this occasion. The first is that the formal food logistics and distribution system appear very robust under these conditions. At the same time, with these lockdown measures in place, the pandemic seems to disrupt vital linkages on which food systems economies depend, and they include farmers' access to markets or consumers' access to products, but also social networks. For example, farmers in many places need support to bring their fresh products to the cities, and also to find outlets in new marketplaces because consumers cannot access them. And these new marketplaces have appeared online or through direct farm-to-consumer outlets, and it's wonderful to see. Also, what we observe is that in some places, healthy food options are now more limited to consumers, and there's actually sometimes a need to ramp up support programs for consumers to ensure nutritious consumption, especially in those places where livelihoods are at risk, since many people are also out of a job. With restaurants and many other food outlets closed, there's also much to do to prevent further job loss in the sector. In this regard, it is also great to see that so much entrepreneurship is also spurred by this crisis. Of course, we are in a situation where our food system before the crisis was not the perfect one. Much needed efforts and investments were anyway needed to change our food system. And this is where this crisis is also an opportunity, especially in countries where money is still cheap, because we have this strange situation where the markets are functioning along with this pandemic. And think about the recovery funds in some of the high-income countries that are now being ramped up. If we can just channel these into the recovery of urban food systems, ask the support from the municipalities there, that would be a wonderful contribution of the current situation. I'm very pleased to contribute to a new project on food trails in which we are seeking to build bridges between the investment community and platforms in the cities to sustain pilot actions to make our way out of the current crisis into a better food system. And I thank the city of Milan for its leadership on this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom, for mentioning Food Trails, a 4-year project that involves 11 European and 21 non-European cities of the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact. I am sure that the results of the pilot projects also on the food economy will be shared to all the Pact cities interested. It is now time to get to the conclusion of these talks. The 109 videos are our common library, and please let us know if you want to know more and if you want to create synergies with other cities. We will keep posting on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter your video contribution. And don't worry if you miss something, because we will promptly reach you out with our newsletters. These talks have been different for many reasons. First of all, for the situation that we are currently facing. And secondly, of course, for the contents that you decided to share. Thanks to your videos, we have had the opportunity to see you, to see your faces, to see your actions, to empathize and sympathize with your city struggles, to share your stories and to be relieved when we saw that you achieved your goals. Through these talks, we strengthen our community of people, and it is amazing to see how we have been able to join forces to meet and face the present and future challenges. Thank you very much and stay tuned.
Per me è un piacere poter mandare un saluto al caro sindaco e caro amico Beppe Sala e a tutta la città di Milano. Voi avete iniziato 5 anni fa un percorso fondamentale, importantissimo, il Patto di Milano, per rendere più sostenibili i sistemi alimentari. E per noi Barcellona è un orgoglio poter partecipare di questo percorso. Avui és un dia important per la ciutat de Barcelona perquè prenem el relleu de Milà, de València i anunciem la capital mundial de l'alimentació sostenible per a l'any 2021 en el marc del Pacte de Milà. Amb la capitalitat volem obrir un gran debat i una gran transformació sobre el paper de l'alimentació en aspectes que són claus pel present i pel futur. Volem que la capitalitat de l'alimentació sacsegi el nostre model alimentari i ens situï en millor posició per afrontar el futur en molts aspectes que s'hi relacionen directament. Hem de construir un nou model alimentari per generar noves oportunitats econòmiques, per generar llocs de treball i per afavorir el reequilibri territorial. Ha de ser un model sostenible perquè tenim clar que és una de les peces claus de la lluita contra l'emergència climàtica. Ha de ser un model just socialment i saludable, perquè en l'alimentació veiem moltes de les desigualtats que hi ha al nostre món. I ha de ser un model de justícia global que acabi amb l'explotació per part dels països més desenvolupats a la resta del món. Barcelona recull el testimoni de la feina que vam començar fa 5 anys a Milà i us convidem a totes les ciutats del món a acompanyar-nos entre el 19 i el 21 d'octubre del proper any 2021, 10 dies abans de la important cimera contra el canvi climàtic que es produirà a Glasgow. Fem sentir la veu de les ciutats respecte a la necessitat de garantir el dret a una alimentació saludable dels nostres ciutadans i també l'obligació que tenim respecte al planeta per garantir sistemes alimentaris justos.
We are looking forward to keep working together in Barcelona. It has been 5 years of amazing projects and cooperation. Behind all this, there is a remarkable teamwork that made it all happen. This is our thriving community of people linked by a common goal.
The Milan Urban Food Policy Pact is more than an international declaration.
We, cities from all around the world, have agreed 5 years ago to develop local solutions for global issues.
We came together to sign the pact.
This is our active platform to discuss our issues and to exchange best practices.
We learn from each other and cooperate among us.
We have done a lot, but there is still a lot to be done.
Join us in our government effort to transform our food system.
We need to act now for our present and the generations to come. We owe this to our citizens and their well-being.
We owe this for the well-being of the planet, our home.
Together, we can achieve so much more.
Local solutions for global food issues.
We are the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact.